You ever heard of being kissed by God? This is pretty much what it is. For those 10, 3, 2, 1 second, it's like God came down and gave you a kiss, and then you just chase that the whole rest of your life, trying to get that first wave or the first barrel or that first turn. And you get it sometimes, but you always are gonna go back and try to do it better and do it longer or do it higher or go farther. And that's why I'm so lucky to have surfing. It keeps me going in a normal state. It keeps my life at an even keel. Without it, it would just tip into oblivion. So, just being kissed by God.
My name's Bruce Irons. Andy Irons was my brother. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. I never thought I'd be here having to talk about my brother. But it is what it is, and here I go. Who was Andy Irons? Andy Irons to me was my older brother, my hero. He's the person that made me who I am. Who's the man? My brother was a very interesting person, you know? He had a lot of things going on in his mind, good and bad. My brother was unorthodox, wild. You never knew what you were gonna get.
Looking into the camera, looking at you. I'm Andy Irons, 27 years old, been surfing for 20 years, live on Honolulu, Kauai.
Andy Irons, your last score, a perfect 10.
Surfing's my life, 100%. I live and breathe surfing.
And grabs his rail, he's still going. Is he coming out? Yeah!
Every generation of surfers has a pool of great talent. But within that pool, there are normally one, maybe two, who rise above and come to represent that era of surfing. They define it.
Andy had something special inside him. You know, Andy had something to prove.
One of the greatest, badass, rags to riches, rock star, people's champion surfers that ever lived.
He came from nothing, and he never forgot that.
You know, I don't think I ever told him enough how happy I was to be his younger brother, to get to call him Andy, my brother. I love getting to say that Andy is my brother. I haven't been here in a while, but this is where me and my brother used to spend most of our childhood. It's a little different now. The new people live here, but for the most part, it's the same old shack. Oh, it's different now, you know, but simple livings, you know, small little house, but this is all we knew. And me and my brother loved this house, you know, that's all we needed. Yeah, you know what's fucked up? I really don't even know how my mom and dad met. You know how fucked up that is. But I know my dad came from Torrance, my mom came from Aspen. They met here, and here I am.
You know, the whole surfing thing wasn't even a real thing yet. You know, we were all considered kind of weird to be surfers. You know, why don't you play baseball or do something else?
My father was a ski racer. I have 4 brothers, and they were all ski racers. They were all competitive, very, very competitive, like my father. I moved here when I was 19. That's what I was just here for a summer, and I met Phil. I don't think my mother would have approved of his living situation.
You know, I lived in a tent for almost 2 years, you know, and all we ate was avocados, bananas, you know, that kind of stuff, and brown rice, you know, and it was just all seemed about right. It was pretty quick. You know, here's Andy's not even a year and a half yet, and Bruce decides to come.
When we brought Bruce home, there was this really nice bassinet. He saw what was in there, and it was just like, really? I don't think so. And he just came over and just tried to just knock the whole thing over. That's how Andy met Bruce.
So they were a handful right from the start, with both of them.
We're like 7 or 8, and Christmas comes around and we got surfboards.
First wave I ever caught, I remember to this day, clear as day. I went left, right, left. And from that day on, I told my dad every night, I want to go surfing, I want to go surfing, I want to go surfing.
From that day, we were both hooked.
So, talk about watching Bruce get good. Like, at what point did you start to think he's probably going to be as good as me?
I already knew that from way before. When we first started, he's always been pretty talented. Whatever he does, he's pretty much a freak. But I don't know, just practiced a lot, surfed a lot together, and just kind of progressed.
Okay, so you want to say anything else about your brother before we leave that? You think you said enough?
I said enough.
You did?
Yes.
Okay. Do you love your brother?
No, get off this question. Get off this whole thing. Let's answer a different question.
Do you love your brother?
God, stop this.
Okay.
Me and my brother had a really interesting relationship. You know, we never showed signs of affection or weakness towards each other because that was the way we were raised. And, you know, a lot of people saw me and my brother as being real competitive, which we were. You know, a lot of times we were violent with each other, but that's the way it was for me and my brother growing up. That's how we pushed each other. But no matter how much me and my brother went at it, you know, I never ever wanted to see him in pain or hurt. That Christmas we got the surfboards. That was the last Christmas I think we were a family, because my parents divorced after that. It was actually kind of good because we didn't have to hear them fighting anymore, I guess. I was younger, so in my mind, I don't know, maybe I just blocked it out, or maybe it affected my brother more, I don't know. He had a lot more shit going on in his head, I think, than I even knew, but he wouldn't really talk to me about it.
Andy had a psychological thing going on. He could channel it in a positive way, or it could work against him sometimes. There's numerous occasions where they would actually call me out of my classroom in school because the teacher or the principal could not control him. He wouldn't listen. He'd want to jump out the window or want to fight back. I mean, he's just a real strong-minded person.
He had what was called like reversals. He'd see things, a B as a D, or different letters in different ways. Dyslexia is like that. You see things backwards. If there was a genius, I think it was that he did see things in a different way.
Yeah, he's in special ed. He was even in it when he was in high school. And I used to tease him about it.
Andy felt like he was just stupid, so he would just say, I'm with everybody else that's like me, and I'm just stupid. I can't learn. And that broke my heart.
Not knowing how to express that feeling of what the fuck's wrong, why can't I do this? And then he didn't know how to properly ask the teacher or something, so he would just snap out, and he had a real temper on him. And I'm sure the divorce had a big part to play with that. I know it did. He's bitter, just like I was, My mom moved right there by my dad's house. I was actually right across the street from Honolulu School. We could just walk straight from Honolulu School, 100 yards to my dad's house, straight into the ocean. Me and my brother just surf, and I think that's where we blocked out what was going on at home. Because when you're out in the water, you don't think about any of that shit at home. And that was probably the thing that saved us.
Andy loved the ocean always. That was a place where, not even sleeping, the water is where he was the most calm. His peaceful place.
When Kelly Slater Black and White came out, that was the video. That was the video that we watched over and over and over. You'd watch that video, and we'd go out, and we'd try to surf and try to do reverses, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to be on that TV. And that's where it all started. We met Liam McNamara and Garrett, and they rode for Willis Brothers Phasers, So they saw us surfing. Called my dad up and go, hey, I know you don't know us, but your kids surf good, and hey, we want to sponsor them for Willis Brothers surfboards. We'll fly them over to Oahu, we'll take them surfing, and my dad's just like, all right, they'll be on a flight.
Most of the heavy competition was Oahu-based then, and they knew to take their game up, as Phil knew, that they had to be here on Oahu to face the Oahu kids.
They were still in grammar school, and I'd send them to Riddle on a Friday night, and then Dave would send them back to me on Sunday, and then Monday they'd go to school.
This is Bruce Irons getting a nice ride, and check out the finishing floater right there. Older brother Andy didn't want to be shown up, so he got in one of the best rides of the day. Check out the aerial right there. Nice one.
And my brother was always winning. He was kind of unstoppable.
Andy Irons in the blue. Deep. Getting his spits out. Andy Irons in the blue.
We started getting paid when we were young. I was 13 or something. Volcom gave me a contract for a good amount of money. And I think then Quicksilver started paying my brother also.
Andy Irons up and right.
First pro event he won was the HIC Pipeline Pro. That was a big thing because, you know, the waves were 12 to 15 feet and onshore and out of control. He wasn't afraid, and he was getting huge barrels, and he was only a kid in high school. And he was taking out like Derrico and adults, seasoned veterans, you know?
Heat after heat, I just kind of got in this rhythm, and this all came together. It was a great feeling, that one.
I knew that after that event, every single brand was going to be chasing Andy Irons, you know?
How much were you guys paying him?
Well, we were paying him $120,000 at 17 years old. And that was a lot less than what he was being offered.
As we got older, you know, coming from what we came from, and then all of a sudden you get all these sponsors and all this money, and it's new, it's not this little island, we're in the real world, going around the world, surfing all these spots, all these parties, all these attention, you know. For him, it was a lot more intense, the world on his shoulders. You know, for me it was, oh, I got my older brother. He's the man, he's the bullseye. And I'm just like protected by him. And you know, I really like that, you know? Like I couldn't handle that pressure that he had.
They had a lot coming at them quick, and they like, you know, they didn't even really know what they had. You know, the stuff was coming in, we managed their funds, and they didn't even really want to know what they had. For years it was like that.
We didn't want to deal with that, and it went for a long time of our whole career. It was like that. Money's coming. We don't know how much we're making. As long as we can get our ATM, this and that, and spit us out money, great. But I don't want to deal with that shit. I just want to surf and surf and surf.
You know, the traveling part was tough because, yeah, you send your boys off and they're still in high school to these, you know, countries. It's hard. It's leery. You know, well, you always just hope for the best. You know, don't look at the negative.
Me and Andy were 16, 17. We both started running around the world, you know, with no parents, no one to tell you what to do. That's what you dream of. And then all of a sudden we had the checks to do it because we turned pro, and we were traveling the world just having a good time and, you know, start competing.
Hawaii zone, Andy Irons.
We were just kids. We smoked a lot of pot and drink all night, come home at like 2, 3 in the morning and like stay up and just keep drinking and paddle right out without even going to bed, just go out and surf. And we lived so loose. It's amazing that we made it through those years.
You know, from the beginning, I think his goals in surfing were a lot different than mine, because I went into it, you know, because he was doing it, and I was just like wanting to beat him. But him, in his mind, early on, he wanted to be the best, and he was gonna get to the top no matter what, one way or the other. Kicking, screaming, punching, whatever.
Andy and Bruce, what they do in the water and the level of artistry that they show shifts the given. It moves the posts as to what's really possible.
You know, Andy and Bruce, they were the guys that made things change, taking huge chances on waves that nobody thought those kind of things could be done before. Like big waves with a small wave mentality.
You know, when it got big, people would be riding big board, trying to just get around, and Bruce and Andy just went, why not? Fuck it, I'm gonna just go at it.
Yeah, Bruce.
Me and my friends, those were our favorite surfers. Those were the guys that we looked up to and the guys that I grew up watching, you know. It was raw and it was gnarly. I mean, he didn't really give a fuck.
The
The path that they took in their surf careers were similar but different. Bruce won his share of surf events, but he got to be one of the first guys to really make a career not being a contest guy, getting the shots, charging.
Andy and Bruce were hyper competitive with each other. It's funny because Andy was competitive with everybody, but Bruce seemed to be only competitive with Andy.
What would you do to win $50,000? Stay with us for details of the 20th annual Big Wave International on Oahu's North Shore. And I'm talking 50-foot waves. Incredible.
Andy and Bruce were volatile. Right before the Eddie I call, you know, a poker game. You're gonna do a big fight over poker.
You know, it'd be fuck you, and then just like, boom. It's full on knockdown, pounding each other.
I remember Bruce just being so angry that he had a black eye during the Eddie and just channeling it. And then Bruce is in his heat, and Bruce is taking off on his perfect pen, and he's like, fuck him, he don't deserve that wave. He's getting a 25-foot wave, and Andy's flipping him off.
Bruce wins, Andy gets third, black eye up on the stage. It was just like rock star, classic, brotherly, competitive type story.
Andy and Bruce gave life to the future of surfing. They defined a lot of moment in the era.
Andy's going.
Champion from Honolulu, Hawaii, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Irons.
Surfing was definitely, you know, my ticket. And from the beginning, I just, I used to do the contest and I had the sponsors and just took it one step at a time. And before I knew it, I was on the tour, living it.
Yeah, the World Tour is basically the best 32, the top 32 competitive pro surfers in the world. And we travel around, we do 10 or 11 different events around the world, different countries and locations, and whoever's on top wins a world title.
Today, it's in excess of a $13 billion industry globally. Top guys, their money's anywhere in the $1 million to $3.5 million.
When I first got on tour, pretty much everybody on tour partied really hard. Blind, shit-faced, drunk. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, we gotta compete tomorrow. What are these people doing? For me, it wasn't hard to not get sucked in that world because it was simple. Those things never made people better. In fact, that was just like kryptonite for people.
First year on tour was a nightmare for my brother because, coming from Kauai straight into the tour, I don't know. I don't think he handled the pressure too well. The first event came along and it was at Australia. That's when we all went up there to watch him.
He's like, you're coming to Australia with me, you and Clay. I don't have any money. He's like, I got you. I'm like, really? Okay, cool, sweet. Oh my God, going to Australia. I've never been to Australia.
We were all there on the rocks. I remember we were all sitting there like, we're all so psyched, Fuck, my brother's on tour with Kelly Slater and Shane Dorian and Ock and everybody. It was like a big deal. My brother, I think he lost the first contest. First thing got lost, 33rd. And it's probably a shocker, but his mind wasn't in the right place. I know that. After he loses, we all go to Newcastle. And then from Newcastle, we go to Western Australia. But as we went to Newcastle, my brother stayed in Queensland. Why, I don't know.
Andy shows up. His hair was dyed black. The first thing he got to the place where we were staying, he got in there, he closed up the curtains. He says, they're out there, they're everywhere, we don't know who they were.
Doors shut, windows shaped, drapes down, they're fucking following me, like out of the fucking movies.
He went off the deep end.
I'm just like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, and he's just looking right through me. He's going, it's all right, brother, it's all right. Just these eyes, these eyes would just pierce right through you. I was like, oh my God, my brother is gone. He's gonna have to go to a loony bin. He's out of his mind. But then, as all this shit's going on, he'd go surf the box and catch every wave and get the deepest barrels and like have an ultimate session. And he's completely out of his mind. Out of his fucking mind.
That day at the box, that place is basically the edge. You want to sit on the edge of life and really feel power, you just sit at the box. That place is so rad.
He's out there in the water, like biting at people, like just, like fucking cuckoo.
So I've been studying mood disorders for the past 35 years, and specifically bipolar disorder for the past 15. Bipolar disorder is a disorder of mood, of energy, of motivation, and you can have this switch from being okay to being manic and psychotic.
He was two people, you know, like he could be so chill and cool, and then he could also be so just gnarly and high-strung.
People can have episodes of mania, they can have episodes of depression. They can go from depressed to manic, from manic to depression, and they can even have both at the same time. They can believe things that simply aren't true. So if somebody all of a sudden believes that their loved ones are narcs or after them, that's the sort of delusions that can come along with an episode. People can't control the speed of their thoughts. They can't control the content of their thoughts. For them, it's this altered state that's going on, and again, it's coming from your brain. You know, we all take for granted being regulated. We take for granted that we have these inhibitions. It's how you get through a day. You gotta have inhibitions, otherwise you can't survive.
After that event, we packed him up and brought him back home. And then he had a tough year that year and ended up dropping off the tour.
The first time Andy really opened up and told me about the bipolar thing, I really just don't think he believed it, and I just think he was not ready to pay attention to it at all.
You know, it was really hard for him. That was, you know, until then, you really never even knew about it. You know, I mean, it was such still a new thing.
I'd heard about it, and we touched on it, and there was medication for a while, and then not. So Andy once told me that he didn't like the meds, you know, and he just did it his own way.
I'm feeling kooky, I don't know. I'm on a fucking downer right now, bad one.
I have bipolar disease, and I've had it all my life. And your feelings become so extreme, be it anxiety, depression, or elation, that you cannot survive and take care of yourself in the world. And part of the trouble with getting better is you have to learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is really, really hard.
It was the first time I'd ever really been close to somebody who was pretty extremely bipolar. He didn't seem to have any control of it. He didn't seem like he had, you know, medication that really worked or anything like that. It was like, you know, when it hit, he couldn't see it coming. It was just something that would just grab him, and that was it. You know, it was like he was getting pulled underwater, and there was nothing he could do about it.
After a while, it gets grueling. After going for so many months, no matter how killer a spot you go to, you're usually pretty burnt anyway. You just want to go home, just relax. Have your own pillow, your own shower, drive your car, see your own old friends, you know. There's just gotta be stability instead of just always going.
Just what is it that you want to do?
Well, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. And we want to get loaded. And we want to have a good time. And that's what we're going to do. Well, wait, baby, let's go.
We moved over to the North Shore, and all of us Kauai guys, we'd all stay together. So wherever we went, there's always a group of us, and all any of us ever wanted is to be able to surf pipeline and be able to get sets. So, you know, we got settled right in and eventually kind of took over.
Pipeline to me, it's like the, you know, the center of surfing. It's always been the spot everyone watches. It's a place in the magazines and a lot happening in a condensed area.
People from around the world are all surfing pipeline, and it's becoming very crowded and very dangerous. People are burning each other. People die out there, you know, so there was no order.
I'm not gonna ram through the crosswalk when there's people crossing. You don't want to go out the pipeline and drop in on everybody. It's the same. It's just life.
A lot of our friends came over there from Kauai. Like, they started kind of cracking the whip, and a lot of them were big, gnarly, tough guys that no one's gonna step to. I don't know. The North Shore, I think, needed it.
Welcome to Pipeline. Now go home. It's all good.
The Wolfpack, I guess, is a foundation of all the islands coming together, protecting Hawaii from everybody else who's coming here. All you guys. You.
We never called ourselves the Wolfpack. Somebody else called us that, and it just stuck. But we are off Kauai boys, and that's what we saw ourselves as.
Yeah, it was family, you know? It was people that my brother didn't worry about. Those were our boys, you know what I mean? And my brother, he had no reason to fight, you know? He was really good at what he did, and no one fucked with him. If you can go out there and go bigger and deeper than anyone, you're gonna get respect really quick, and that's kind of what we did. And my brother had the biggest, tightest crew of boys that had his back 100%, and you know, it showed.
Just what is it that you want to do?
It was my brother's 21st birthday, and they went on a boat trip to Indo. At that time, he was pretty, you know, kind of out there still. And when he drinks, you know, he'd be even more out there. You know, he's drinking Jack Daniels. It's my 21st birthday, you know, just out of control. I think they had morphine or something. So my brother saw a line, and, you know, I don't know, he thought it was Coke or something. Sniffed it, and there was a line of morphine. And Nathan Fletcher kind of grabbed my brother and, you know, brought him into a room, laid him in bed, and just like, all right, I'll watch him, you know, because he's just out of control. And periodically you'd hear this, like, this, you know, sleep apnea thing, like this, whatever, you know, clear his throat. You know, after a while, you know, Nathan didn't notice this pattern.
I realized he wasn't waking up, so I grabbed him by the hair, smacked him in the face, as, you know, I guess what you do, and then his eyes just like rolled in his head, and he wasn't breathing, he wasn't there.
The ambulance showed up, you know, there was, you know, he was still lifeless, still white, blue lips, you know, like, you know, but there was a little pulse. So, you know, they put him in the ambulance, and as they got to the hospital, they're like, "Oh, where's our friend at?" You know, he just came in, they're like, "Oh, your friend's." He kept slipping in and out of life, you know. On the drive there, his lung collapsed. He's in intensive care. He flatlined for, you know, 8 minutes, dead.
When I saw his thumb wiggle and knew that his family was gonna see him again, his brother, his mom, his dad, and come home to his family, that was the most gratifying feeling that I'd ever felt in my life.
I walked in his hotel room and I started crying, and he grabbed me, and it was like, he held me like I thought he was gonna break me, and he almost shook me, and he goes, "Stop crying, I'm fine." I was so afraid then. I was afraid after that. I was afraid I was gonna lose him.
I didn't see a good future coming, you know, with all the shit going on in his head and mind, and like, you know, like really didn't think my brother was ever gonna come back to normal from how insane he was. But the ocean, I think, played a big part in balancing out his chemical imbalance.
Usually once I get in the water and come back out, I feel a lot better no matter what's going on. It's almost like therapy or something. You can be having the worst day ever, go out and have a good session and come in, everything seems all right. So to say surfing's a part of my life is way too small and minuscule. It's been there for me through good, bad, parents getting divorced, don't matter, brother being a prick, it don't matter. You go surfing and you do a good turn, it's gonna feel as good as your first turn. And that's the kind of stuff that keeps me going back in the water, hoping to keep that feeling, you know, going.
Like when he snapped out of that whole being kind of crazy part of his life, you know, like it's like the brain was a Rubik's Cube and it all just kind of came back together. I don't know, you know what I mean? Because he was so scattered and so out there, and then all of a sudden he's winning heats, and how? I don't know.
It was like instantaneous. He went from like the least confident guy in the world who was getting drunk after every loss and being a total idiot to like all of a sudden he was like full-on world champion material. He was the biggest threat at every event.
Bipolar disorder can be associated with tremendous creativity and drive. And there are many people who feel that in many ways it is a gift because they can see things differently than many other people can.
Sometimes people call it pre-psychotic brilliance. Your mind is working better and faster than everybody else.
He won those 2 contests back-to-back at Huntington, got back on tour, and when he signed that contract with Billabong, I remember that, like, that gave my brother this confidence, like, yeah, now I'm with a badass brand, and I'll show you guys what you guys just got yourself.
Andy Irons up and riding. He's deep, he's late, he's committed, pulled in, grabbed his rattle, still going. Is he coming out?
He got so good and so confident so fast. All of a sudden, it was like, holy shit, Andy Irons, this guy's radical. Something stoked that fire, and he finally figured it out.
I went through the trial and error like everyone else. Got out of high school and straight into the tour life, and it can eat you alive, and it kind of, you know, took a big chunk out of me. I fell off the tour. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't come back so strong.
You know, you look at his interviews, you hear the way he talks, he just sounds like a completely different person.
Because when it clicked for Andy, it just clicked. Like, we didn't really see it coming. He had been struggling, you know, and then all of a sudden, Andy just clicked and became this guy that was unbeatable.
Deep in the 37. One of the best surfing ever witnessed. He's still flying. Here he comes. The crowd goes crazy.
You know, my brother went on to win the world title from being fucking dead.
A true champion. Mark it December 3rd, 2002. Andy Irons is the new men's world champion here at Sunset Beach.
Andy Irons.
Can we just fucking ride your coattail today?
Bro, just feel the aura. You guys are. I didn't win. We all won. The whole freaking, all the boys.
Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging.
Never, buddy.
Told you.
When he wins, we all win. You know, we call him the people's champ. You know, he's winning, we're all winning. You know, we're all riding that high, that pink cloud, and it was unreal.
For me and all my friends of Kauai, it was the best days of our life. It gave everyone motivation to, fuck, my brother's conquering the world, we want to conquer it too, you know? And he was carrying us all to victory.
The scene was out of control. It was just everything you can think of. Like whatever you think of a surfer party lifestyle, that was it. You know, bands in the yard, free, everything.
I like that good.
This one really is just for the fans. Thank you so much. You guys made my dream come true.
My brother didn't give a fuck, you know? As long as the vibes are good and people are happy, that's all that mattered.
You know, they were really generous. He really provided a lot of things for people that just got lucky to be there. But they were the pro surfers with the money and the hanger honors and all the bad that comes with success. You know, you have to be able to filter it through and not have it come in and stomp on you. And both of them got stomped on.
My brother loved getting people paid or like loved throwing the party, like loved spreading it. And there was a lot of hands out, you know, a lot of hands were out. You know, everyone wanted to be a part of our show. Shit, they loved it, they marketed it. People ended up marketing Wolfpack. Everyone kind of started realizing, hey, we all can make money here, and a lot of people got jobs, a lot of people got sponsored, a lot of money flew our way, not just to me and my brother, but it flew to all of our friends.
How has these pressures affected your surfing?
Sometimes I'll get weird thoughts through my head, like you're the world champ and you gotta surf good every single wave, you can't fall off, stuff like that. But I try not to get too caught up on those and just be like, I'm just a surfer like everyone else and just want to have fun. Get really moody lately. Jackie, you know. It's just something, I don't know, it's just a lot of thoughts, a lot of just stuff going on, and I just try not to let it get to me, but I'm just only human. It just gets to me sometimes and get overwhelmed, and try not to get overwhelmed, but it's hard. And just trying to deal with it the best I can. I just need something to get me all fired up again, and just don't feel like I have it right now.
Lindy came along. You know, they met my brother's birthday, July 24th. You know, it was after my brother had his first world title, and my brother fell deeply in love with Lindy. From that day that he saw her, that night, you know, he never let her go.
It was just really instant attraction, chemistry, and he was wild and funny, and I liked all that. He told me he loved me after like 3 weeks in front of my best friend, so he was definitely full on. I didn't know that he was in the middle of a world title race, but he just seemed on top of the world and happy and just, you know, full of life. When we started dating, he asked me to go on a couple trips, I remember, but I was really, it was just overwhelming. But when you date a surfer on tour, you travel with them and date. You don't stay at home and like go out to dinner. You kind of have to go on the road with them and get to know them. And I didn't get that in the beginning. I was like, whoa, you're crazy, like wanting to take me places. It's called the Dream Tour for a reason, I guess. It was a dream life. It was solid 2-3 years of just rock star life, just traveling around the world first class and
you know, doing whatever we wanted. Like it was amazing. It was fun. A kid ever came up to him and asked for an autograph or a picture, it was never even like a question of what we were doing. He would stop and do it. He felt almost safe and I think unjudged by kids. You know, he was completely himself and silly.
He's not only, he was on fire on tour, now he found his new love, and it was just like, he was unstoppable.
Last but not least, the 6-time world champion and the yellow jersey, Kelly Slater.
We all know Kelly as maybe not only the best surfer ever, but the best competitor surfer ever. He's the genius of it.
You had one guy coming off of Pamela Anderson and just superstardom, best surfer on the planet. And here's this kid, this young, angry Jedi, who's like, you're my hero, but I'm not gonna worship you.
Kelly, different from Andy. I don't know, night and day difference. Kelly was he's the person that you'd want to take home to dinner, or I don't know, you know, just a good, nice guy. Now my brother, on the other hand, was a little bit more, I don't know, like a loose cannon, you know? You never knew what you're gonna get.
Kelly's like this, he's another level that nobody can relate to, but Andy, he was just always like everybody else.
He went out of his way to interact with people. He was somebody that people felt like they could identify with.
The surfing world loved their golden boy, Kelly, and my brother was the dark horse. In my brother's mind, that's what he thought, you know? That's why Kelly would have his white wetsuit, and my brother would have his black wetsuit. My brother goes, this is my Kelly killer suit, you know?
2002, he won his first title. 2003 was the year I was very aware, like, he's the guy to beat. Up until 2002, he wasn't. But in 2003, there's no one else in the picture, in my mind.
Two of the greatest surfers ever going against each other, both with this will to win that to this day, I haven't seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner.
#1 in the world.
It's on. No pressure. Just amp.
And he's off.
So Andy, you just lost. How do you feel?
I lost. How do you think I feel? Not good.
He would just look at it and go, I should never lose. You know, I want to take Kelly's dream and smash it. I don't even know if I even said what my dream was. He just was going to figure out what was before me and kill it, you know?
My whole driving force right now is to take his little pretty picture and just crush it. Now I need to get to work, that's all.
And now we see Kelly Slater.
Fuck, hurry up. I'm out of here.
World champion Andy Island.
I think it's one of the greatest rivalries in sports. For the first time in a long time, you know, something that resembled like the old Lakers-Celtics rivalries. And you had to sort of pick a side.
Started this rivalry thing, and I started getting into the character and just kind of going, you know what, yeah, fuck Kelly. He wasn't the guy I grew up looking up to anymore. He was the guy that I wanted to beat more than anything, that wanted nothing better than to leave him on the beach with a loss.
How do you feel about Andy going out in the first round?
I feel great about it. Sure he doesn't.
They were just going back and forth, first second, and after every event, my brother's just like, next event, you know, like all the way down to pipeline. That was nuts, you know? So all this hype, all this, everything was coming down to the North Shore. Whoever placed one higher was gonna win the world title.
You know, half of Kauai was there. He had a great base of people around him. Everything was in his court.
You know, people say that Andy carried all of Hawaii by himself. The pressure that builds up skyrocketed. It was incredible to watch.
And my brother would get a good one, just roar. You know, my brother could hear that. My brother could feed off that.
That was the part of surfing that was missing, you know. That was the part where the rivalry was thicker than actually just going surfing.
I would literally look at Andy or think about him or dream about how to beat him and all this stuff. And you know, for whatever reason, Andy and I did that to each other. I know he did that to me.
My brother, more than anything, wanted to crush Kelly, especially at home in Hawaii in front of all the boys. That pressure, you know, it was probably going nuts in his head.
The North Shore Showdown, the final will begin in 5 minutes. Go out there, guys. Good luck.
The guy came up to me before the final at the Pipe Masters 2003. Biggest heat of the year, the final, right before it all goes down, comes up to me, pats me on the back. You know, I just want to let you know I love you like a brother. Right before the biggest heat of my life. Like, what?
I definitely think Kelly played mind trips on Andy, definitely. You know, Andy fed off that.
Tight right here one time. Kelly Slater. World title on the line. Kelly Slater, take it off. Pulling it in. And he goes down. Big top turn there. It's still around the cut down and the iron. All the announcers are counting down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Andy Irons and Kelly Slater giving it up for each other in the water right now.
And it was the first time you saw Kelly, like, visibly rattled and not able to just do the thing that he does. And I think that Andy made him have to refocus or redevelop how he did things.
He like set up a party for all of us who just wanted to go fucking Richter, which we did, and he's like, nah, man, I'm good. Like, you know, my brother just wanted to be with Lindy.
Nobody else. No, thank you. Hey,
He wanted to just sit there and, you know, soak up what he just accomplished.
There are very few of us who end up achieving anything that we could call greatness. And so for those people who do achieve that, even burdened by having bipolar disorder, is extraordinary.
I love seeing my brother like that, in shape, confident, focused. He was a competitive animal, athlete, and he carried himself like that. In his mind, he knew that this is where he needed to be. This is what, I'm the man, I'm the champ, and no one's taking this away from me.
Andy, your third ride, a perfect 10 points.
Oh, it's amazing, you know. I look forward to this feeling my whole life, and it hasn't even settled in at all. So right now it's really hard to explain the emotions. You know, there's no really words that can describe it, but maybe in a week or so I'll have some words to put together about it. But for right now, I'm in disbelief.
To win for 3 years in a row, that pressure was building up, and when it finally happened, I think no one really knew exactly how much of a toll it was really going to take.
You know, after Andy won those 3 world titles, and then the next year was came down to that heat at J-Bay where Kelly and Andy in the final, and that was the heat that determined the world title at the end of the year.
He was the one who had everything to lose in 2005, not me. I hadn't won a world title in 7 years. You know, I'm bald, I'm over the hill. I mean, he's told me all these things, I'm a fucking kook. Okay, if I'm over the hill and I beat you, then this is gonna crush you. Andy's last wave, he got like an 8 and he rode all the way down the point, but he didn't do a whole lot on the wave. He just kind of did like a lot of up and downs, but nothing big.
Andy rode the wave all the way down the beach. You couldn't find out where he was when he came back up the beach. He rode this wave all the way down there, and then Kelly needed the score.
Like, okay, Kelly, you need a 9.3 or whatever it is. I remember standing up and I just went, this is the wave. This is clearly the best wave that has come in this heat. And so I did like, I think I did 4 turns and fell in the 5th. It was like, should have made that. It's teetering on the edge.
It's a 9.5.
I could see how he was physically defeated in that moment.
If they didn't give that score to Kelly, my brother would have won the world title. But it wasn't Kelly's fault, you know, it came down to the judges. You know, clearly Kelly didn't get the score, you know. And Kelly will admit to that.
We all thought Andy got ripped off, and then we were like, oh, the judges, they're being idiots, you know, they started, you know, talking shit to him.
He was pissed. He lost a lot of respect, I think, for the whole fucking judging and all that shit after that, you know. The whole beach saw that, you know, the whole tour saw that.
I think he was hurt because it was so obvious and everybody told him. But it was true, and that contest is what started his downfall.
And he watched that heat on repeat probably 1,000 times.
Kind of just didn't give a fuck after that. He was just kind of like, fuck this already, you know, like 3 is good enough, and, you know, they're giving the nod back to Kelly, and I don't know, yeah, it kind of broke him right there.
Having your moods go back and forth, it's like waves. You don't have any control over it. Now, one of the things about bipolar disorder is that it's mostly depression for people. And with not finding that life has meaning, with not finding that there's anything of interest, it's very easy for them to feel like they're a failure. Well, it's extraordinarily painful.
After the end of that year, you know, yeah, my brother's dark side started creeping more into his everyday life. A little bit of partying kind of turned into a lot of partying, and all of a sudden he wouldn't be surfing for a couple days would turn into a week would turn into 2 weeks. Like, he kind of just started going on vacay mode, you know?
People with bipolar disorder do all sorts of things to try to help themselves. And in seeking relief from that severe anxiety, they're prone to sort of go overboard with a lot of the drugs.
I drank differently than other people. I took drugs differently. They were doing it to have fun. I was doing it to be more normal. Because, you know, when you have this illness of anxiety, you say, finally, this is the drug that makes me the man I'm supposed to be. And you keep taking it and you keep taking it. And then, however many years later, it stops working.
You know, when he was smoking weed when he was younger, he'd smoke a lot of weed. And then if it wasn't weed, you know, then drinking, a lot of drinking. You're doing coke, a lot of coke and drinking. And then the pills come, a lot of pills. And then once you get on this pill run, the pill run's a hard one to kick, and that's the one that grabbed a hold of my brother, grabbed a hold of a lot of us. It took down a whole bunch of people. That seemed like that was the beginning of the end for that big run that my brother had in the spotlight that all of us had. Because, you know, my brother was doing good and winning and he was healthy and solid, the light was shining bright on all of us. And as soon as my brother went down that dark road, we all went down that dark road.
What pill did you just take?
Yellow.
Is that a yellow guy?
Yeah, right here I got, what I have here is, we got the hydrocodone for the back. We have the Valiums for the sleeping disorder. And we have oxycodone. This is extremely, like if you're in real big pain, pharmaceutical grade.
You're really breaking down here.
Beginning in the mid-90s, when Purdue Pharma introduced a drug called OxyContin, it launched a campaign to increase prescribing of opioids.
Don't be afraid to take what they give you. Less than 1% of patients taking opioids actually become addicted.
From 1997 to 2011, there was a 900% increase in addiction to prescription opioids. When we talk about opioid pain medicine, we're essentially talking about heroin pills.
We had probably like 60 fucking best friends, like tightest pack freaking surfing's ever seen. And those pills fucking ripped that whole scene right in half.
You're thinking, oh, it's just like a little pharmaceutical pill. It's like a Vicodin, no big deal.
They're handing these things out at Rite Aid or CVS. How bad could they be for you?
Before you know it, you're hooked and you try to stop and you start getting sick and all this shit. And it's kind of a scary thing if no one's there to tell you what the hell's going wrong with you.
We had in 2014 more Americans dying of a drug overdose than we had dying from AIDS at the height of the AIDS epidemic. The CDC is calling this the worst drug addiction epidemic in United States history.
It's like, I'll try these ones. These are the 80s, the milligrams. He was on the 20s before that. He had this like little orange pill crusher, white lid, and drop one in and he'd snort the pill, and I was like, what are those things, man? You crazy, you get off those, they're fucked. And I couldn't believe that he was having one in the morning, one at lunch, one at night, you know, getting through all day.
It takes over, and everything is orchestrated and set up based off of that drug, that chemical. And nothing matters, nothing works, nothing exists unless you have it.
I think once he started that stuff, that he was changed him completely. Definitely changed him.
Everyone had their own addiction problem and everyone was hiding it, and we all just turned into these closet case drug addict monsters, you know, and you could see it when you go down to Pine Trees because it wasn't the same.
All I did was beg him to surf because I thought that maybe surfing would make him happy. But it was far more than surfing that was torturing him mentally.
I think he suffered in a lot of ways mentally that I don't understand. I always tried to understand, and I had so much compassion for because I didn't understand what he was going through. He He would tell me a lot that he wished that he could explain what's going on in his head. And I just laugh it off like, okay, like, what do you mean? He's like, no, it's like, I wish I could explain to you what I see and what I'm thinking. And he's like, but I would scare you, or I don't even know how to explain it.
We thought it was going to be a fun heat, but it's turned out actually being pretty heavy.
Because those rocks are right there and you just get washed straight into them, there's no escaping.
He was fucked up for that whole event, and he's surfing his heats, barely making it out on time, coming in. Guys are just high-fiving him and also high-fiving stickers onto his wetsuit with big bags of blow in it. He won that contest high on coke and pills, like no big deal. And you know what? That wasn't the first and last event he won high.
I didn't go anywhere. I was always there. Just one bad contest. Throw that one away, I'm right in there. Can't wait. Game on.
It's the team! It's the team!
Regresa aquí después de un año.
During the Chile event, yeah, I ended up in that room with me and my brother, drinking a lot and, you know, doing substances and shit. Just me and him, which we never really do together by ourselves, but we were kind of having a powwow. I remember being really drunk, and I just remember the last thing I remember before I like blacked out was him asking me out of the blue, like, are you afraid of dying? And I was thinking, like, what the fuck? At the time, I'm like, yeah, I'm afraid of dying. And he goes, well, brother, there's nothing to be afraid about. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, you remember when I died in Indo? And I was on that table dead for like 8 minutes. He goes, I was out of my body and I was in the other side. And he goes, it's all real, you know. You know, the whole light, the tunnel, like, you know, I was in this other place and it was real nice and comfortable and warm. And he goes, it's all real. And he goes, there's nothing to be afraid about. And he goes, when I was looking down at my dead body, I didn't like how I felt in that world, how I felt in that body. He goes, I didn't want to go back.
I ended up going to meet him at the airport in LA. And, you know, high as a kite, he'd just won the event. And I just turned to him and I just said, hey, Andy, I'm not here to take you home. I'm taking you to a center because you need help. And all three of us broke down. And he kind of thanked me and he just said, yeah, I'm sorry, I need help, G. So we sent him off.
Ultimately, he always had the control, and I knew that. Even when Billabong sent him to rehab, I'm like, this isn't over. I saw it in his eyes. I knew it wasn't.
It seemed like he went to that rehab like 3 times really quick, and they like all back to back to back, it seemed like. He needed it, but You go to rehab, you hang out with a bunch of other addicts. All you do is learn how to do more, heavier drugs, different ways, you know? So the only person that's gonna wanna get help, if you wanna get help, is the person who's going through it. After that, my brother, he was good for about 8, 9 months. You know, he focused a lot of his energy into Lindy, and she stuck by his side through thick, thin, ups, downs, all that shit. He truly loved her more than anything in the world, and you could see it.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Oh, thanks. Oh, this is happening. Yes.
I love everyone.
The wedding's over, party's over. You know, my brother didn't want that to stop. He just wanted the good times to keep flowing. And that's what he did, you know, and it went on for a couple days.
Lindy called me after they got married. He disappeared right after the wedding. And I was like, what do you mean? Did you just get married? That's when I knew that he was getting out of hand.
He had like 200 oxys and ounces of coke, and he mixed them all up, and it was just so beyond that point of no return. He'd laugh. Same thing, I can handle. I got this. What are you gonna tell the guy? He's a grown man.
Everyone wants to blame somebody. They never want to accept the fact that me and my brother were big fucking monsters, you know? Believe it or not, we are manipulative in getting what we wanted, especially if it came to drugs. You know, you start getting into heavy fucking addiction with these pills. You know, I know that was ruling my life, and I know it was ruling my brother's life too.
I remember him paddling out for a heat, and he couldn't even paddle into a wave, couldn't even catch a wave.
Taking a look at this. Andy Irons lets it go.
He started doubting himself and doubting every move, even to his trunk colors, to like his board. He was so doubtful of himself. He cared so much about what the surfing world and like the public thought of him, instead of maybe just retiring and having a family and being happy. He was really worried about what people thought of him. Everyone thought it would be a good year to take off of the ASP, because when you win a world title, you're allowed to take a year off. He was very confused, didn't know what to do. He sat in our condo 2 months straight and didn't say a word. I'd scream and yell and just be like, just tell me you're okay, or what can I do? I would do anything to try to get anything out of him, and it was nothing. Until he left one time, and that's when I got scared. I remember finding him like on a mattress, just with no sheet or blanket, barely alive. And he always told me, don't you dare tell anyone. So it's like kind of go to freaking Foodland and act like everything was fine. And I had like a dying heroin husband like at home. Like it was, yeah. I look back now and I wish I didn't. I was just trying to protect him. But I think in a way I wasn't protecting him, but that's what he wanted. We went to Australia to start over and regroup, and I thought Australia would be the best place because pills weren't in Australia yet. But he had that support, I think, of all his really good friends there, Joel and Mick and Aki. It was a nice family.
When he came over though, he was fucking so good. He'd put in the hard work, like he'd surf, he would do everything right.
Lindy sort of turned into this rock for Andy. You know, she was the one right there. She was ground zero for it all, and she saw everything. And you know, she was always like, "I'm sticking by him, and I'm there till the end." You know, that's when Lindy was pregnant. He's like, "All this shit just doesn't matter. I just want her." And love conquered all in their world, and it was beautiful.
Look at this one, Andy.
He came back to like the old Andy. It was the best thing for us coming out of the darkness.
Coming out. They are.
They are.
I got lucky enough to take a year off. And now I'm coming back there, and I'm not as good as I was. And I have a lot of work to do, but I'm willing to go do that work.
So realistically, I'm looking forward to just winning another contest. That'd be a big dream of mine. Get one more win. I'm just really putting my whole goal around one more win. If I get one more win before I quit surfing competition, I mean, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy that win, I think, more than most of my wins I've ever had, just because it's been so long.
I have fans now that come up to me and tell me, "We're so stoked for you." And I've never had this before. Like, I've had so many issues. I've had the roller coaster of fanship. When I came on, and I was all cocky and whatever, and I was kind of lame. And then after I started winning, and I was like kind of brash, but people were like, "Oh, that's kind of cool because he's winning." But you know, Kelly's way cooler. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Kelly's cooler, but I'm gonna beat him, and I beat him, and I beat him again and again, and then he beat me again and again, and then I got humbled. And today, literally, what gets me up out of bed every morning, it's not contests, it's not Kelly, it's not anything else other than to go surfing, to be happy. And that's what the big picture is for me.
Quarters for like 2 years. Such a big relief. I've been in the quarters in 2 years, so that's really, I'm over the moon. Kelly's and the others, you know, with me now in the semi, so it's gonna be exciting. I'm psyched.
I remember being so pregnant, laying on my back and watching heats, and even with Bruce, we watched the final together. I remember him beating Kelly, and I remember him specifically hitting the water with excitement, and I knew that that was everything to him, everything. He just seemed at this little bit of a ease for the first time that I've ever seen. He wasn't this raging, like, Andy, ferocious, competitive Andy. He had this, like, almost ease about him.
Without that year off, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be winning contests at all. I'd be at home hanging out, and I'm stoked to be on tour, and I'm stoked to win a contest. My whole dream was just to win another contest. Anytime you get your name on that trophy, just feels, you know, it feels amazing. I won't lie, it feels amazing.
I was just so happy for him.
Just the look in his eyes, you know, the pain was gone.
Yeah, it was all coming together.
Well, I guess it's kind of open-ended, but like, what does the future hold?
For me, kid. Future? Biggest thing is, you kidding me? I don't know what's coming, boy or girl. Either way, it's awesome. Either way, it's the next generation. Either way, it's my rebirth. Either way, it's something for me to be positive and motivated. And my brother has a kid, and it's cool to see just evolution. You can't be that psyched kid that all she lives for is one thing. You have to evolve. Surfing is the main priority of my life, but it's not the only priority. To me, surfing's something that makes me a better person. Surfing's the reason why I have this life I have. That's why I have this beautiful wife. It has a beautiful family. So surfing is the main element, but what comes with it is a matter of what you make of it. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm just making what I, making my own path.
Yeah, at that time he was happy. He was surfing really good. He was in a, content with his life and ready to start this new chapter of his life. Just a lot more relaxed, a lot more focused on his, up and coming child.
He came up to me and he goes, "Hey, can we talk?" He's like, "I feel like I got lucky to start over." And basically he just said, "Look," he goes, "you and I have had this crazy thing, and he goes, I want to make a movie with you, and I want to tell the whole story. I want to take it to schools and tell kids how messed up I was." And he goes, "Even if I just change one kid's life, even if I can just change one kid's life, I'll feel like I'm a success in my life." And I said, "Man, you got my word. I'll do anything you want. I'll do whatever." But he goes, "I'm stoked. I'm so stoked." He's like, "I've never felt like this in my life." He goes, "I didn't know I could feel like this. I never knew life could feel the way I feel right now."
Andy was faced with tons of pressures everywhere he went, and those dark sides would definitely get at him quicker than the positive sides. I mean, we went down to Mexico, he was clean, everything was going well, and some slime ball shows up, starts having a conversation with him, and next thing you know, it looks like he's getting loaded, like he's trading boards or something's going on, and you're just like, how did this situation turn dark so fast?
I found, a thing of tinfoil wrapped up, and there's some stuff in it, and it was burnt. It was something. Whatever it was, that's what he was doing. That's how he was. He was really, truly high and low on that trip. Like, to the worst I've seen him ever in my life.
It was heartbreaking to see because sometimes he wouldn't be able to handle it. And then you just go, there's an addiction here that's much stronger than, it wasn't an intentional thing. He had no intention of getting loaded on that trip. It was heartbreaking, and I know it was a bummer for him. But those pressures were constant for him.
He was complaining about chest pain, which he never complained about before. And at first I'm like, oh, it's just anxiety, like maybe your anxiety. He's like, no, it's like not anxiety, it's like legit chest pain. So when we went to the doctor right before he left for his trip, she did a few tests, and she's like, you need to come back right when you get back from Puerto Rico. You need to come back in here, and we need to figure out what's wrong with you.
Andy Irons. Lindy did 3 times.
Lindy's not going
No.
Okay.
One of the things that we're understanding now is that bipolar disorder is not just a brain disorder. It's a total body disorder. And people have all sorts of things that go wrong medically. And there does seem to be sort of a total body and heart aging, if you will.
He didn't even want to go. He didn't even want to go to Puerto Rico. It was at the end of the year already. He was just, it was like, he just wanted to stay home, like, he wasn't mentally there. He wasn't solid.
I don't know, he was on a really bad one. But he was coming off of stuff.
And he didn't have his pills to come off of the pills that he was on, but he needed to surf this contest. And I remember telling him, like, just touch the water. That's the rules. You just have to touch the water in the contest, and then you can come home. And, like, just put your foot in the water, take your jersey off, and then come home.
Andy didn't show up for his first heat in Puerto Rico. And I just heard he was at like a signing at a surf shop, and he was so bloodshot red in his eyes that they didn't even want him there.
When you're going through withdrawals, you don't want to do a fucking thing. You sure as hell can't go surf. So I think he was sick, blown out in his hotel room, didn't want to leave, and, you know, was just trying to get back home. And going through withdrawals, you know, you're sick. So your body's going through a whole lot of stress.
Doctor saw him, gave him a couple of bags of saline solution, and said he felt a lot better. Then we heard that he had left and jumped a flight, went to Miami, and was trying to get home.
Lindy, it's me. I can't deal with this. I can't fucking do it. I'm fucking sick. I'm throwing up in the fucking plane. This is fucking hell. This shit ain't worth it. I'm in Dallas. I made it this far. I'm in room 324 in the Hyatt. Call me. I'm gonna try to sleep all day today and hopefully get on the flight tomorrow. Love you. Bye.
Got to Texas and said he was so sick he was wheelchaired off the airplane and into the hotel, and said he was so sorry for everything, that he was coming home.
You know, I know he was trying his hardest to get home, you know, thinking about his new child coming, you know. He wanted to be home really bad. I don't know how, but I just knew, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Her screaming at my doorstep, 8 months pregnant, I fucking knew instantly my brother was dead. The last thing I heard was, went to sleep, never woke up, alone in a Texas hotel.
He could conquer any wave, but surfing champion Andy Irons has suddenly died.
The mysterious death of world champion surfer Andy Irons.
The 32-year-old died suddenly while on his way home to Kauai after the Rip Curl Pro Search event in Puerto Rico.
Irons' wife is due to give birth to the couple's first child in 2 weeks.
Just how he died remains a mystery. Irons reportedly told his family he caught dengue fever in Portugal.
An autopsy report conducted by the Tarrant County Medical Examiner shows the 32-year-old had a heart attack.
Phenom Andy Irons died from a combination of a heart attack and drug use, according to the New York Times.
The news sent shockwaves through the world of surfing. Fellow surfers held a traditional paddle-out memorial Wednesday to say goodbye to their friend.
Don't let me show cruelty, though I may make mistakes. Don't let me show ugliness, though I me love, show me love.
If I had a chance to talk to you again, Andy, I would tell you that I love you so much and I miss you so much. I don't even know how to explain it in words, how much I miss you. And I want to tell you that you're amazing and I'm so proud of you, and I just wish I could hug you and hold you and kiss you one last time. And most importantly, I wanted to tell you about Axel. He's perfect. And he would be so proud. I see so much of you in him, and I'm lucky I have him, and thank you for giving me him. Because I don't know where I'd be without him.
Andy, I think about you every single day. Now that you're not here, I realize, you know, I'm alone in this world. Everything that you felt, I felt. You were my hero. Growing up, you still are.
You know, my brother told me, he's like, it's totally makeable. Go, go, go.
Boy, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Irons.
Help me get through another day away from you. Help me get through another day away from you. Help me get through another day away from you. Help me get through another day away from you. These tears that run down my face, I don't understand. Wish I had one more chance to give you a hug and shake your hand. Just all seemed so sudden, this was never the plan. No, to have lost you, to have lost you. Oh, help me get through another day away from you. Help me get through another day away from you. Help me get through another day away from you. Help me get through another day away Help me get through